A lot of joy in Chicago last night. Oprah Winfrey gleefully pointing out that an abortion is the American dream. I mean, I look, covering the convention this week has been brutal because I don't want to torture you. I don't want to make you mad. I couldn't even watch it the first night. I got so frustrated 30 minutes in, I turned it off. I've been trying to watch the next two nights. I watched last night. I saw Oprah stand up there and literally complain about racism that she has experienced in her billionaire's life. And then I watched Tim Walz pretend that he believes that people should mind their own damn business, one of the Democrats' favorite talking points. Of course, they're trying to talk about abortion, but Minnesotans remember what Tim Walz did with COVID lockdowns and George Floyd curfews. When I heard about the paintball, I still can't get over that. I still can't quite wrap my brain around Tim Walz's Minnesota having cops march down the street like stormtroopers, firing paintball guns at people on their own front porch. That video has gotten thousands of requests so far on the MyPillow text line. This was after George Floyd died, and they had curfew, and this was at dusk. You'd see it's still daylight out. It's not even dark. And here's this army of cops marching down the street, and one cop says to the other cop, "Light them up! Get back in your house! Get back!" Can you imagine living in a country where the police are firing paintball guns at you? Because Tim Walz ordered a curfew, you had to cower behind your closed door, and if you were out on your own front porch, that's Kamala Harris's America. That's who she picked to be her vice presidential running mate. And all we know about Kamala is she's joyful. Oh, she's got joy tonight. We're going to see joy. Oh, in their world, her cackling like the village idiot makes her joyful. We're going to hear her cackles tonight and that stupid, huge grin that she loves to try to disarm people with. And she's vicious. Make no mistake. This woman is a cobra, and she's got a plan right now. Hopefully, her plan is, hopefully nobody will know what I stand for. Maybe we can fool enough of the people for long enough. Hopefully we can make it till November the 5th where people don't have to hear about all my flip-flops. I was against fracking before I was in favor of it. I wanted Medicare for all before I'm against it. I let the border be wide open. Now I'm for border security. And I'm glad that the policies are starting to seep out slowly but surely. Unrealized capital gains tax, that's great. That'll go over real well with people. Raising taxes, she's going to wipe out the middle class. The economy is going to crater in a way that we haven't seen probably in our lifetime. I loved what the CNN guy said last night about all the joy. Scott Jennings, who's the conservative, he's the one Republican they, for some reason, allow on that network. And he had a great point about Kamala's joy and taxes.
Nobody tonight said a damn thing. They want you to vote for a ticket based on absolutely no concrete idea about what they would do once they get in office. You said he got more progressive when he got elected governor. So you're saying every time he gets another office, he gets more and more progressive. I think that's exactly what would happen. Tonight you did hear people say, well, we may not agree with them on everything, but at least it'll be joyful as they tax us into oblivion. I think the idea that you could run an entire presidential campaign based on the idea of vote for me to find out what's in it.
Wait a minute, Scott.
Terrify every American.
Scott.
I mean, good for them that they put him on. You know, I don't watch CNN. I get the clips when I come into the office every day. I mean, he went on to say how ludicrous it is that they want to blame Trump for everything when Democrats have controlled the White House for 12 out of the last 16 years.
In all these speeches, as good as they were, is that she's in the White House right now. Democrats have controlled the White House for 12 of the last 16 years. And for all of the talk about division and the problems in the country and people are hurting, Democrats have mostly controlled this country. Trump had it for 4. The Obamas and Biden had it for the rest of the time. And somehow, it's still all Trump's fault, and somehow she hasn't been at the center of it. So to me, that's still the glaring hole in this campaign that hasn't yet been solved at the convention. How do you explain all of the problems that will be solved by the person who is currently in there for the last 3.5 years, who is supposed to already be working on solving it?
Well, it's easy. The answer to that question is easy. You don't explain it. You lie. You just use talking points, stupid talking points that don't even make any sense. We Minnesotans tell people, I mean, Tim Walz was brutal. The only nice moment was the close-up of his son, his 17-year-old special needs son, bawling his eyes out, saying, "That's my dad." And everybody was impacted by that moment. That was the only authentic moment of the night. But his dad is up there pretending that he's not a tyrant. And I'm not kidding. Tomorrow, I hope to have this grandma on who was locked up for 60 days because she dared open her family business during Walz's COVID mandate. Lockdowns. Mind your own damn business? Hey, Tim Walz, why don't you mind your own damn business and get out of people's lives? And if somebody wants to open a cafe, you big jerk, let them open a cafe. We look back now at the tyrannical COVID mandates that these blue state governors came up with, and we roll our eyes and we say, oh my gosh, we can never go back to that. I saw an article today that said, people now are looking at the COVID wave as just getting the flu. Everybody I know that's had COVID said, yeah, I got it. I had it a week or two ago. I even went to work. You understand, those days are gone. Locking yourself down, putting on 19 masks, popping Paxlovid like you think you're going to die any moment, those days are over. People are getting COVID. They're getting the flu. They're getting a cold. The truth is, people look at COVID now like the flu. But the lies are what just astound me. I mean, I know they lie, and we all accept that politicians lie. They're taking the lying to a whole new level. And let me stick with CNN for just a moment. It took a CNN fact checker to point out the egregious lie that Trump is connected to Project 2025. Look, that's all they got. All they got's abortion. That's all they got. They're worried. All they got is we'll hit voters over the head and we'll scare women into thinking you're not going to get to choose an abortion. And that, for some reason, has a visceral impact on millions of American women. We have to accept that. And they know that. And they know how successful the abortion conversation has been at the ballot box for them. And now they're trying to tie Trump to this Heritage Foundation think tank, Project 2025. Pete Buttigieg went on some late night show, I think it was Stephen Colbert, saying, the Project 2025 is the thing that the Trump campaign might not recover from. Well, yeah, that's because, Mayor Pete, you all are lying about Project 2025 over and over again. They had a speaker last night get up on stage and claim that Trump wrote Project 2025. Again, it took CNN to call them out for that despicable lie.
Listen to this claim from Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester of Delaware about Project 2025 and former President Trump.
He has, with his friends, said the quiet parts out loud, but not only said them out loud, he wrote a book about it. What's it called? Project 2025.
That is false. Trump did not write Project 2025. The project's big policy document published by the Heritage Foundation think tank lists dozens of people as authors, editors, contributors. Donald Trump is not among them.
So, hey, good for CNN. I mean, that guy's not a pundit. He's just a fact checker saying that's a lie. Of course, they're lying over and over and over. How about the introductory video? I about fell off the couch. I'm watching this flowing, moving, Coach Walz, middle America, he's a farmer. And listen to what they said about his service in the National Guard.
Rising to command sergeant major.
Yep. rising to command sergeant major. You know that's been debunked, right? You understand he was never command sergeant major. He has lied about that over and over and over again. And then finally, the coup de grace, big night with Oprah. Oh, that was a big moment. Oprah getting up there and claiming that having an abortion in America is the American dream. Why wouldn't you believe that when you got an abortion van parked down the street, where so far it's been reported 25 abortions have been performed, 29 babies have been killed outside the DNC. That's the embrace that the Democrats have right now of death and abortion. And Oprah Winfrey is right up there with the best of them.
Because if you do not have autonomy over this, if you cannot control when and how you choose to bring your children into this world and how they are raised and supported, there is no American dream.
Oh, there's no American dream without abortion. That's what Oprah has become. They went from Bill Clinton's abortion should be safe, legal, and rare to abortion is the American dream. Look, the good news is the convention is over after tonight. The better news is it's not going to hurt Trump appreciably. The great news is he's actually going up in a number of polling. Look at the Polymarket polling, Rasmussen. People are seeing this saying, wait a minute, these people are a bunch of lunatics. So don't worry. Let them have their convention. They're going to do what they're going to do. They're not trying to appeal to you and me. They're trying to win people over. And if winning people over means proclaiming that abortion is the American dream, well, you'll have to live with that, Democrats. But we're going to go in a different direction when we reelect Donald Trump on November the 5th.
Mike Gallagher.
Can you imagine having the nerve to claim that our motto in Minnesota is to mind your own damn business when you're the guy that presided over sending police into neighborhoods to shoot paintball guns at people who were on their own front porch? And I didn't believe that story either. I heard about the grandma locked up for opening her cafe. I thought that can't be real. It is real. We're going to try to track her down. Lisa Hanson, I want to get her on the show. Tracy's trying to reach out. If anybody knows how to reach her, text us or email us, 800-655-MIKE or mike@mikeonline.com, because I want to get her on the program, because I don't think people even know. The media isn't going to cover this. You think the mainstream media in the tank for Kamala right now is going to tell you about Walsh's Minnesota locking up a grandma for 60 days because she desperately tried to keep her family business alive during the COVID lockdowns? You think they're going to talk about her? How about the paintball episode? Have you seen that video? That video is so wild. If you text the keyword paintball to the MyPillow text line, which is 800-655-MIKE, you'll see Minnesota police, Minneapolis police, and apparently the Guard marching down a neighborhood street at dusk, and people were on their front porches, and they're firing paintball guns at people saying, get back in your house, get back in your house. Now, how does any Democrat accept that? How could any Democrat anywhere in America say, yep, that's good by me? Nothing wrong with that. Shooting people in the legs and the bodies with paintball guns, and when you see this video, I'm telling you, it'll make your blood run cold. It was one of the crazy, I thought, this happened under this guy, this tyrant? Here's a text message from Minneapolis. Hey, Mike, Tim Walz has a nickname in Minnesota, Tim Jong Waltz, because he too is a chubby little dictator wannabe. That's what the guy is. There's no mind your own damn business in this guy. The guy who literally set up a COVID rat out your neighbor hotline. He's a chubby little tyrant. The guy, the texter is right. And they're lying. My gosh, they're lying. Lie after lie after lie. Last night and I'm telling you, they're just embracing the art of lying because they figure, well, Trump lies, they say, so we'll just lie too, and we'll just do it bigger and better than he does. We'll tell all kinds of lies. How about the sheriff they trotted out? You want to talk about a liar? How about the Bexar County Sheriff, Javier Salazar? It was revealed that he previously called out Joe Biden and Kamala Harris for failing to protect the border. But there he was last night at the DNC.
Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years. She's gone down to Mexico and worked to stop the traffickers. And when the traffickers didn't stop, she put them in jail.
Tell us about what you are asking for. What are your needs?
Well, right now, thank you for having me, first off. Right now, what I'm asking for is for the president or a member of his administration that can make decisions to come down and talk to not just me, but at least 12 other Texas sheriffs from major counties in the state of Texas that are dealing with this issue firsthand. So I'd like to see somebody from Washington come down here, get boots on the ground, get eyes on the issue at hand, and then talk to us, a bipartisan group of Texas sheriffs that are really taking a common sense approach because we have to.
That's the same guy. So the guy last night who's extolling the virtues of how strong Kamala is on the border, which is laughable on its face, he was on MSNBC complaining about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden not taking care of the border. The same guy. Holy cow, you live in Bexar County, you better keep an eye out for Javier Salazar, because there's something seriously wrong with that guy. What'd they give him? What did they pay him to show up as a stooge for the Kamala Harris-Tim Walz campaign? See, again, it's all gaslighting and lies. And do these people not think they're going to figure this out? Are they stupid enough to think that you can't find a tape of the same sheriff from Bexar County on MSNBC earlier complaining about Kamala Harris not doing anything about the border, and then going last night to the convention and standing at the podium and claiming she's been to Mexico and she's been here and she's doing a great job? I mean, it's like Tim Walz. I can't get over the... Play the video clip again real quick. This is the introductory video. Again, it's been thoroughly debunked. Tim Walz was evidently never Command Sergeant Major in the National Guard. And yet...
rising to Command Sergeant Major.
Yes, rising to Command Sergeant Major. That's what... They're taking lies to an epic level. And... let them have their week. Like I said, don't hate watch the convention and complain about it. This week will be over soon enough. Trump's going to win. And September is going to be ours. October is going to be ours. November 5th is going to be Trump's. It is a disgrace to witness the way they're trying to keep Kamala Harris's policies under wraps. And incidentally, that's the strategy of Biden in 2020. Keep him in the basement. Don't let people hear him. Don't let people see him. He'll pretend to be hiding from COVID. And meanwhile, Trump's out on the campaign trail, busting his fanny from getting COVID right before the election. Remember that? And of course, those awful memories make people worried about November of 2024. Well, this is different. This is a different time. This is and the American people have an awareness that they didn't have in 2020. We were not shell-shocked. We're not shell-shocked like right now, like we were during the whole COVID pandemic. Trump did something brilliant. The way the media described it, he trolled the Harris DNC convention by releasing a policy website for her. Since she won't put out a policy website, she doesn't have a policy page on her campaign website. So Trump put out one. The site is Kamala2024policies.com. We're going to give you an easy keyword on the MyPillow text line if you want to see this thing. It's perfect. I mean, the front page says Kamala Harris's dangerous policies are nothing to laugh about. And then, of course, it's got a big picture of her with her cackling and her weird, uncontrollable laughter that she does everywhere. And the pages are pretty simple. Kamala Harris is weak, failed, and dangerously liberal. Not only does Kamala own the weakness, failure, and chaos of the Harris-Biden administration, she's so radical that she makes the squad look like moderates, the page says. She wants to abolish our borders, let criminals control our streets, surrender our communities to cartels and a plague of fentanyl, wage war on American energy, and destroy the American dream. Trump's policy page for Kamala says Kamala Harris's dangerous agenda. Border czar Kamala Harris opened the southern border to illegal alien criminals and deadly fentanyl, and as vice president was the tie-breaking vote for far-left spending bills that raised taxes and sent prices skyrocketing for families across the country. While Harris has tried to rewrite history on her extreme record, she cannot hide from her promises to set murderers free, dismantle America's border security, raise costs with massive spending bills, bring back the Green New Deal scam, eliminate private health insurance, and more. And then page by page, it goes through these policies. You got to see this website. It's genius. And again, the argument is pretty simple. If she won't release her policies, then Trump can. If you text the keyword policy to our text line, we'll ship you back, we'll send back the link showing you this brilliant website, Kamala2024policies.com. Just text policy to 800-655-MIKE, policy to 800-655-6453, and read what Kamala's agenda really looks like. They don't want to tell you. I mean, are Democrats stupid enough to realize? Do you think Democrats are buying the keep her hidden and keep policies from, being released to the American people narrative? You think they're buying that? You think they're accepting that? Give me a break. Marvin is in Washington State. Hey, Marvin, you're on the Mike Gallagher Show. Hello.
Hey, am I really? All right. Well, I think 2020 was massive voter fraud. I think even Democrats, deep in their hearts, know this is a fact. Difference is they just don't care how they win. What's been done to stop them from stealing it in 2024?
Are you not paying attention to what's been done to stop it in 2024? Did you see, for example, in the state of Georgia, what they did in Georgia in terms of the election integrity law there that Governor Kemp just signed into law this week, the new rules about election integrity? Marvin, let me be
illegal in 2020.
Let me
fraud was illegal in 2020. How did they do it? It's passing laws is going to help.
Right. Let me can you please stop interrupting me for just a moment?
Sorry.
That's okay. I know you're fired up because frankly, do you know that when people like you call the show, people are convinced that you're a plant and all you're trying to do is discourage people from being excited about voting for Donald Trump? Do you know that people say that about you?
I've voted in my entire adult life. I'm 56 years old. I've never, ever, ever not voted or discouraged anyone from voting.
Do you understand that your call and your pessimism and your negativity and your prediction is discouraging people from voting? Do you not see that, Marvin?
I don't.
Okay.
Not people.
Well, maybe you need to. Maybe you got to hear how people react to a call like yours, because we get a call like you about every 2 weeks. Oh, we can't win. They're going to cheat. Trump can't possibly win this election. Look at 2020. Look at 2020. And Marvin,
be aware. Just be aware. What are you going to do if it does happen?
What you need to. Excuse me, you keep interrupting me. What you need to be aware of is that you're having, an opposite effect of what you desire. Do you want Trump to win?
Of course.
Well, then why would you call a radio show and TV show with millions of listeners and viewers and say Trump can't win because they're going to cheat? Why would you do that, Marvin, if you want him to win?
You just sound naive if you don't at least acknowledge that possibility.
Listen, I'm willing to acknowledge every possibility. That's not what you said. You said he can't win because they're going to cheat again. That's what you said.
That's not the word I used.
Okay, good. So if you and I can be in total agreement that anything is possible, we better keep our eyes wide open. We better be thankful that all of these states, from Florida to Georgia to Arizona, they've passed all kinds of new election integrity laws that were not on the books in 2020, Marvin. They weren't there in 2020, and they're there now. And again, when somebody like you calls the show and says we haven't done anything to fix election integrity, you're either painfully ignorant or you're lying.
Not fair.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean, that's the only reaction I can have to you.
Enough.
I mean,
Fair enough. So it wasn't illegal. There already were laws on the books making it illegal in 2020. So if writing laws is going to...
There were already laws. Do you hear yourself?
Okay.
Do you
So
hear? Do you hear yourself?
So what happened then?
Do you hear what you're saying? That there were already laws. I just told you about Georgia's new election integrity law, about Arizona, Florida, Michigan. There's states all up and down. Listen, Marvin, there are states all over the country, red states, that have enacted election integrity laws that were not on the books in 2020. You can't refute that. You can laugh and chortle all you want, but you're saying something. You're saying things that are not true, Marvin. Stop lying.
Boy, you are a sensationalist.
No, I'm not. I'm reacting honestly and sincerely to a guy like you who pretends you want Trump to win, and you say something as idiotic as, we haven't done anything to fix election integrity problems. We have, Marvin. And
We've written laws.
That what?
We've written laws. That's great.
What? Well, guess what?
Say that you are correct, and the people in charge of enforcing those laws do so.
Correct. I do too. And by the way, don't get me wrong, I'm as worried as anybody about what could happen for this election. We should all be worried. That's why we got to support the new election laws that have been passed. That's why we got to play hardball. And by the way, Marvin, that's why we got to show up. You know what the voter turnout in the Florida primary was this week? 19%. Hey, guess what, Marvin? If you don't encourage people to show up and vote, we're going to lose. You ever heard the phrase "too big to rig"?
Yeah, I know. I said it in 2019.
Attaboy. Say it some more. Say it a lot more. And stop with the negativity. Stop being such a negativity. I get it, Marvin. I understand. Just don't come to a foregone conclusion. It's one thing to say you're concerned. It's another thing to say, we haven't done anything to fix any of the problems of 2020, so why should we bother to vote? Why should we go? I know that you didn't fully say that, but that's the message people hear. Nevada has come up with election integrity laws that are different from 2020. Virginia. Look at Virginia, Marvin. Why don't you do me a favor and Google Virginia and Glenn Youngkin, what they did over paper ballots versus machines. You know, my buddy Mike Lindell is so concerned and worried about electronic voting. Well, guess what? Virginia said, you know what? Paper ballots. That's a change. Georgia, Florida, important red states, important battleground states. So, yes, I'm sorry for getting so fired up, but I get so sick of negative Nancy's calling this show, and we're not going to win. Look what they did in 2020. Well, the Republicans haven't done anything. They've been busting their butts trying to change the election laws. Laura Trump and the RNC, they have been in overdrive. I tried to get Scott Pressler on the show, incidentally. This kid from Pennsylvania is out there registering people to vote, focusing like a laser on election integrity laws. And you know what they do to him? They attack him mercilessly. And he is the nicest guy. Have you heard of Scott Pressler? There are lots of Scott Presslers in the world, by the way, but he's very unique. He's very unique. And I had a little exchange with him, a text exchange, but he stopped responding to me. I know this guy is busy as all get out, but I want to get him back on the show, because he's pointing out what happened in Florida. He's pointing out what's going on in Pennsylvania. We got a bunch of warriors out there, Marvin, busting their butts. And again, don't miss my response to your call, Marvin. They are going to try to do anything they can to win. They are lying through their teeth. They are distorting everything. I get it. Don't say it's over. It is August 22nd. Make it too big to rig. What are you doing, Marvin, to get people registered to vote? What have you done in your community to make sure that people are registered and are signed up and ready to go? What are you doing to encourage early voting? Mail-in ballots if we need to. Every path possible has to be pursued in order to vote. And what are you doing? Rather than calling a talk show and laughing and saying nothing's going to change and we're going to lose, or nothing's been done. Because that's nonsense. That's nonsense. What the Democrats want, Marvin, is for you to be discouraged. That's what the whole show was this week at the DNC. They want your pessimism, your negativity, is music to their ears. And Marvin, we got to fight together. We got to be unified, and we got to fight together to win this thing.